What is going on, guys and girls? This is GhostRobo. Hope you're all doing well. Today, I want to talk about something a little bit weird, which is that I have, officially, I guess it was a couple of years ago, but officially come to the realization that my parents are children. And I don't mean that insulting at all. I love my mom and dad to death. They're amazing people. They've done so much for me, and I am just eternally grateful for them as human beings. But at a certain point, you break free of your sort of youthful belief that your parents are these beings of some sort of higher knowledge, higher control, higher power, and you realize that they're just grown-up kids, very much like yourself. Me being 23 now, and I've moved on my own twice, and I obviously have my own job, and I in fact even help my family out considerably with money. It was one of the factors of why I did YouTube, and one of the factors of why I didn't go to college. It puts you in kind of a new perspective of the whole situation, and you can begin to realize, especially because I have now run the gamut of things business-wise, right? So I have my own business, I file taxes, I pay for things, I've, purchased cars or a car and, done loans and helped my brother with his student loans, helped my parents with bills, and just all sorts of crap with money that is like the most rude awakening into adult life possible. It allows you to really realize that your parents are grown-up kids. And I know that's kind of like an obvious thing to say, hey, maybe it sounds really dumb to say that because it's true, but it's more true than you'd think, in the sense that there is no manual for parents to take care of children or to run effective lives or to make all the right choices. They're basically doing things sort of piecemeal from different sources. Of course, they gain some knowledge from their parents, and maybe some from the world in general, and maybe some from things they've read. But for the most part, all my life, when I was younger, I'd look to people for guidance. And typically you look to your parents, you look maybe to teachers or coaches. For me, it was more coaches, and some teachers, I guess. But you look to these people, these sort of authority figures for guidance. And now I'm at this point in my life, and I would assume that at least some of you are in a similar situation, whether you're 18 or 27 or whatever, where it's who do you go to for very sound advice? And I know you could say, well, you can still go to all the same people, but when you begin to break down and realize the fact that, logically, these people are no more equipped to make these life choices than you are, or, conversely, you are just as equipped as they are to make these choices, it becomes a little bit frightening and a little bit unsettling. For me, knowing exactly where to, move, because I wasn't bound to the typical thing of move out of your house, go to a college dorm, and they assign you. It was you can live anywhere. And that is kind of terrifying. And so when I moved to California to find my place, it was okay, well, what do I do? What's the best thing? And my mom helped me out very much, which is wonderful. But other things, where should you do this? Or when should you book your flights? Or these things that all of a sudden transition from sort of predetermined choices that your family or your parents or your teachers or anybody made for you, that now become part of your own entity, I guess. I am fully responsible for all these things, without the sort of mirage in my head that my parents somehow know better than everything. It's a very strange feeling, and I don't know, maybe I'm completely crazy and nobody else feels this way and be like, Ghost, you just listen to the old people, they know what they're talking about, they're old. But my parents are both around 50, and they clearly have way more life experience than me. But when it comes to certain things, I feel like I make more sensible choices than they do. And it's very interesting to see, for example, just as a very low-level baseline example, my parents went to a concert this past weekend, and I disagreed with why they were going and the cost and quite a bit about it. And yet, typically, when I was 16 and under, 17 and under, I would not have said a word, because just who cares, whatever, it doesn't make any sense. But because now I'm making all these decisions for myself, when they make decisions, it becomes very blatantly obvious that there is a choice to make. And so I kind of run it through my head, what would I do in their situation? And you begin to realize that not every choice they make is necessarily the best one. And I guess this is all part of growing up, and maybe I'm just kind of reflecting on my own evolution as a going from, kid to adult, fully transformation or whatnot. But becoming any sort of mature person in the world with a job and with a career and an income and responsibilities and bills and stuff, you're starting to make every choice for yourself, and even more so than the cut and dry, like where do you apply for a credit card and which car should you purchase. The things about like, I really could live anywhere right now, and that's kind of a daunting fact because it's like, how does anyone choose this? How does anyone choose where to live? How does anyone choose an apartment or a house? And of course, you can break it down and come up with the very specific, checks and balances of why you would do one or the other. But frankly, for someone like me who is not bound to a wife, not bound to children, not bound to a company in particular, I can freely choose, and that's like a really scary thing. So one, having that onset of all this choice, and then two, realizing that you no longer have the 100% steel guarantee of these people who know everything. It kind of puts me in a really weird space. And for the last 4 or 5 months, I've been really working through, like, okay, making choices on my own and not second guessing them, making choices on my own and being okay with them being different than what my parents would choose. Because again, one, you don't have to match up with your family. Two, they may not know what's best. And I guess the true story is nobody knows what's best. It's what's best for you in the moment or what's best overall. But when you're looking to, for me, I always want to choose the highest good. And so when I'm looking to make a choice of where should I live or what should I spend my money on or should I, what should I be spending my time, things like this, I kind of want someone to say like, good on you, thumbs up. And when you get to a point where even if someone gives you that thumbs up, you're not sure if that thumbs up is really just a pat on the back thumbs up or a legit, like, yes, you are successful and doing a good job thumbs up. It's kind of weird. So this full realization and this full like understanding, and it's been a couple of years for me of like, you know what, like when my parents were 20, they were just like me, and not just like me in that way, but just like me in the sense of they are nothing. This sounds really belittling, but I promise it's not. They are nothing more than an older version of a child, and I am nothing more than an older version of a child. So when you see people make ridiculous choices, and when you see people do ridiculous things or have outbursts or reactions, you have to remember that these are high schoolers that just have grown up a little bit, and some people mature faster and more in different ways than others, and some people don't, and it's perfectly fine, like whatever. I'm not placing any judgment on one over the other, like, oh, you should be a super serious being of pure moral responsibility, but it's just a very interesting realization, occurrence, just overall, like life is just weird, and I'm really entering this period of complete, I guess I wouldn't say existential growth, but just overall growth that is, I'm thinking about everything in such different ways than I ever have before, and you sort of, at least I did, I sort of broke my life down into these specific chapters and markers. Like it was about making the varsity basketball team, or it was about getting into the best college, or it was about, just getting through the school year, or it was about making it to summer so we could go on vacation. And now like I'm at this point where I don't have a school that I'm attached to. I don't have a job that locks me down to a specific area or time or place. And so it's like now you have from now until the day you die, and it's like, what do you fill that time with, and how do you want to choose things along the way that are best for yourself and best overall for a quote, what is the overall good choice? And so I find myself just being lost and confused quite often, but I'm doing my best to work through, and I think things are turning out quite nicely. Hope this video was engaging in some way or another for you, just maybe piqued some area of your mind that hasn't been activated in a little bit. I know it's not the typical gameplay commentary, but if you did enjoy, hit that like button, add to your favorites. People have been requesting more life kind of stuff. I know people really enjoyed the college video and the high school ones, and so I'm thinking about bringing more things along these lines. If you guys like it, paired with gameplay, it should be a good time. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you've had these realizations about your parents or how you make choices in your life, or we think I'm crazy, or you just want to write oatmeal. Whatever it is, let me know below. I'll be checking in on them frequently. Till next time, guys and girls, have a fantastic day. Drink some hot chocolate, and we will see you all later.